Hello, welcome to this little video and I'm going to show you how to make, it's sort of a trifold card. It can be a special card, but it could also be used as like a chocolate bar wrap or something like that. So I've got a couple of different versions, but the first one I attempted was a little bit too tricky, I thought. So this should be tied in a bow there. But this is what happens. So this opens and then we have this like little scene inside using the lovely papers, which I've got out here. So using that sheet, and then we've got a little message inside, and then that folds over and you tie, that slots under there and it ties in a bow. So it's a nice card. It's a special card that will stand up. You know, some of them you can write on the back. That's why I've not put paper on the back, so you can write a message on the back. You know, some of these fancy cards we make, then you think, well, how do they stand up? So that will stand up. But as I say, it could be a gift wrap as well. You could get a nice bar of chocolate in there, as well as being a card. Or you could put a voucher in it and some money. So yeah, there's lots of different options. I've forgotten all the measurements, so I'm going to be doing this with my trusty ruler. Now, oops, this was the one that I was going to do, which was in inches, and then there was this point, and to be quite honest, yeah, I've wasted a lot of this paper. It was really hard to get the paper the exact point to, you know, I've just not got it sort of quite right on that one. So that was a prototype. That usually happens when I'm designing projects and things. So as this is a pre-record, you can pause this and you can rewind. I have allowed 1 hour throughout our day to do this card, but it's lunch break after this one if you're doing it live. So yeah, please do not panic, please do not rush. Now you need, I'm using the piece of thick basic white for this that was in your pack. It was on the opposite side to the standard white that you would have had. I've just got my sheets here. So you've got a few different colours and you don't actually need all of the card. I've just put it in for you to use. Now, sometimes I've been using vanilla with this, but for this one, because I'm using the Memories and More cards, and they've got a white base, I've decided to use white. And for the polars, or you do need a little scrap of the more standard, but you might have some that you could use that we've cut some offcuts from this, so we could be frugal with it. We're going to be using the Very Cute stamp set, and you can decorate how you want. I've not used a Christmas tree yet, so I might rectify that and I might use that now on this card. And I've got out 3 different choices of these Memories and More cards to use here on the front to stamp my greeting. You don't have to use these. We are going to be using them a lot. Well, we used them on the hoop, didn't we? And then we're going to be using them on the, I'm just checking, on the next project, well, and all the projects really. So you've got half a pack of these, you might want to invest in another pack of those if you want to make any more projects from today. Now, with regards to the paper, I am using this one. You've got 2 sheets of this for the centre. It is really difficult, I'll be honest, to fit it in, and we sort of have to cheat it a little bit. And what I mean by that is, because I wanted it to flow and to have the whole picture, yeah, I cut it as well. I could have cut a little bit further up to where the bear's nose was there. Should have cut it a little bit further up. And here I've had to cut off the baby's nose, but I've cut it out from the paper and I've stuck it back on so it sort of overhangs. That was the only way I could sort of get it to work. I might get myself a millimetre from here and not make this one's neck look as extended. So I might be able to get a millimetre or so back here. But then you see it means that that one, it all gets sort of pushed up, so you've to be careful. So we'll see how we get on with that. And then you need a piece, some pieces for the front. Now I went with the snowflake, this one, on my initial design, but I've actually got quite a bit of this one left, and I'm wondering if I might use this on the front, so then when you open it up you've got the polars inside. I might see how that goes. And I think, you know, I'll have 3 of these by the time I've finished. I think I'll wrap a chocolate bar up for the little boy on our street, just as a little something. So I might make this one that I'm doing specific to him. So this greeting, Christmas is better together, might not be quite right, so I might put his name on or something like that. So I just want to give you options. So if you're making them for family members, you could put name on, you could put grandson, niece, you know, you could do them personalised. That's what I'm trying to say. So I'll move the papers out of the way to start with, and we will cut the card. Now I just want to check, I thought I cut this down, but no, I didn't. I've used the full length of the card. Okay, so I'm just checking my measurements. So we're leaving it at 21, so that's all good. All right, whoops, we're leaving that at 21, but the actual card base is 28.5. Okay, so we want to cut this down to 28.5. Now you will need a pencil for this to do this card. That's going to be your friend, is a pencil. All right, so we've cut that to 28.5, and then I'm going to go through these measurements because I made this about 2 weeks ago, and you know what I mean, I've forgotten since then. I'm going to write these down. So let's just, you can catch up while I write these down. Right, so what I prefer to do here is move your cutter out of the way. I'm going to score it at 8.5 centimetres, 8.5 centimetres, and then 10. So 8.5 and 10. Okay, then rather than telling you a bigger measurement to keep going, I just like to flip it round and do the same. 8.5 and 10. Okay, so we've got that now. So that should, Julie, fingers crossed, yeah, that's right. We do need our cutter in a moment because we're going to do some cutting, but if you have a bone folder, when I film this, I need to write my list of things to tell you that you need. So you need a bone folder, a ruler, a pencil. That's my little list to then send you a list. Now where's my bone folder? Should be in this bag. It should be. Yeah. She tied it up, you know. She tied it up. Now, if you don't want to do this in white, you could do it in some of the other coloured card. You don't really need that card for anything. These don't have to be super folds. You don't actually really need the other coloured card for anything. I just put it in because I wanted you to have some matching card. So you could do this in Misty Moonlight if you wanted to. There we go. So that comes over, and then that comes over, and then we've got our little wrap. All right. So she puts this back on here and we measure. Now I actually made this using my own measurements, so there isn't a tutorial for it. I saw it on the Stampin' Up, right, that's 8, okay. I saw it on the Stampin' Up Facebook page and thought, oh, I'm going to make that. So what I want you to do is come down here and get that pencil, and you're going to mark at 8 centimetres there from the top, and then the same at the other side. So yeah, I saw it on the Facebook page, and it was with the the sort of Bethlehem suite, you know, the Holy Night suite. And I thought, oh, I think that would work with the Bear papers. But what I didn't want was to have to use a 12 by 12. I wanted to use A4. So I've made it up myself. Right, so what we're going to do now is we're going to put this in our trimmer. And we are going to cut, I'm not penciling, I'm just showing you this first score line here, or the last one, whichever. So we're going to line it up so that our pencil is in the groove, and that score line there is in the groove. You don't have to draw it. Okay, we could use that to stamp a bear, couldn't we? So we have that, and you can always rub that out. And then the same, do the same at the other side. So it's the outside score line, and then the pencil mark. Okay, and there we have our little wrap. All right, and we've got a little bit of scrap which we could use for the polas. Now you might want to go in and rub, if you can still see those pencils. There we go. Right, okay, we won't do the hard bit first. We'll do the front pieces. So if we turn it over, so this is the inside where you've got the mountains of the scoring, then we've got the valleys here. So this is the outside. I'm going to take some of this paper, okay, and it needs to be, and I'm going to cut a piece that's 8 centimetres in width. Okay, 8 centimetres. And this is really technical. What I'm going to do is I'm going to pop it over my card like this and get it in the middle. Okay, so I've got the same border around the bottom and the sides. All right, and I'm going to take that pencil again, and I'm just going to come down a couple of millimeters, the same distance as what I've got around the edge, and put a little pencil mark on my paper. Okay, so I've got one there and one there, and then I'm going to take my trimmer again, and I'm going to pop it in so that both pencil marks line up in the groove of the trimmer, like this. We won't be able to use that piece, but we can use it for cutting out. Better, you can cut out more polas. And then we should have that should be okay for there. We can, if you can still see your pencil, you can rub that out. All right, move that to one side. You'll have to cut another piece at 8. You could cut this down beforehand so you're not wasting. You could cut it to 21 height. So again, I'm going to put that there, line it up. pencil? I think it is. I can't see it because it's on the tree. Ah, okay. I think it's there. There. Oh, I've sliced through a polar bear. No, I've done that wrong, look. Oh, no, sorry. I was going to say, I can't have been that far out. Sliced through a polar bear, but never mind. Okay, I'm going to glue that down. Oh, the trees would have been nice, wouldn't they? You might want to do the... Just make sure you've got glue going up to the point when you're sticking this down. Okay, and then the other side. This might not look right with the polars, but instead of the snowflakes, but hey, I might do it that way so that, yeah, so that you don't see the cut off. Well, that one's cut off, but anyway. Oh, actually our ribbon will be there, so that's fine. So just a little, you may want to think about where you position your paper. So you know, you may be better position it in a better place than I have if you're going to use this paper. But anyway. Okie doke. So we've done that. Now to tackle the harder bit. If you don't want to use that sheet and you just want to use this inside, then just use that inside, and it's exactly the same measurements. That you need 3 pieces that are 8 centimeters wide. This one, you don't need to measure it because of it's just flat at the top, and so this one would be 8 by 20.5 centimeters if you know, we're just going to use a normal piece that's not as... Now, if you wanted to, you could do... Some people don't know what to do with this kind of piece, so that could be a nice one for inside with the footprints if you wanted to. But I want to use this one. Okay, so, but I have to be really, really careful. So what I'm going to do is say a little prayer. No, I'm going to cut this so that the bear's nose, this one on the right, is right to the edge. Oof, and it absolutely is. And you see that. Now, if you want to make it easier for yourself, you could cut this down to 20.5 now, so you know that you're not wasting. Yep. Oops. So we don't need that. We can use that for something else. Okay. So what I'm going to do here, I'm going to turn this upside down and I'm going to cut this to 8. It will mean that I'm cutting that polar bear's head off, but I do know about that. Don't need the arm out anymore. So that will go there. All right. Now, what we need to be conscious of. So what we need here now is we need a 1 centimeter strip, then an 8, then a 1, then an 8. So when we look at this piece here, so we need a 1 and an 8. So that's 9. So if we go to 9 like that, we can see that we're here. Then we know that we need a 1. Yeah, so that would mean 10. And look, we're nearly close to having that bear's head. Let me show you what I mean. Yep, there. So we just need to be mindful of that. All right. But what I might do is, so we need a 1 and an 8 and a 1. So that's 10. Now if I take 10 there, I'm not actually. So that's 1, 8 and 1. So that's 10. And then we're going to move that up anyway. So that doesn't make any difference. That's all right. That's all right. So we're going to cut, turn it upside down. We're going to cut a 1, sorry, now. So we'll cut that this way using the 1 at this side. So we're going to cut a 1. Yeah. And then we're going to flip it and cut an 8. Yeah. And then we'll flip it again and cut a 1. You see what I mean in a minute. So if we put these in place, we've got that one there, then this one here, which we don't need to cut. We only need to cut the outside too. And then that one there. Okay. And then we've got this one here. Okay. Now we've got our last piece, which we know can only be 8 centimetres. So if we'll turn it upside down, if we put this in to 8 and we can see that we're cutting a lot of the face of that one off. So what I want to do is trim this down so that I'm going right up to this polar bear in the groove. So I'm cheating and I'm taking a bit of a slither off. It's about 2 millimetres. Okay, so I've actually took his foot off a little bit and his nose is right up. But it means that when we cut this, it just gives us a little bit more leeway and we're not cutting as much of the nose off. And do you know what? I might actually cut it at 8.1 and just see if I can cheat. Do you know what? I'm going to do a cheat. I'm going to do a cheat. Right, let's do this. Let's do it at 8. But let's not cut all the way down. Yeah? So I'm going to cut to just before his nose. I'm going to lift it and then I'm going to start from the top and I'm going to come up and I'm going to go just to near his nose. Yeah? And then I'm going to cut round with my scissors. Yeah? And it will overhang a little bit. What do we think of that solution? I think that's a marvellous idea. So this is if you can cut in this. So we carry on with the line, cut round the nose and the foot, and then line it back up. And we've sort of cheated it and we've not cut the little Paula's nose off. Can you see what I've done there? Put my hand there. Little genius. Little genius. And look, it just hangs over. Cute. Yeah? So we fixed it. We fixed it. Right. Let's glue the bits on that we know we don't need to cut down. So this one, just up. Just goes down like that. Line this one up with the bottom. I've got a bit of a bigger gap at the top. I might need to slice a bit off the top. And then this piece. Okay. And now we need to do what we did before with the fronts. We just need to get the pencil out again. For this bit, it should be in the right place because we cut it the right height. So really you only might need to do your pencil there, and then you can cut it to that corner. But actually it might need to come down a little slither. And then, because we cut it to the right height, didn't we? And then this piece, now that does need to come down a slither. Okay, so let's cut those. Oops, I moved it. Naughty. Don't know if that looks right. Let's have a look. Looks right there, but it probably could do with a slither off the bottom. So I maybe need to take a tiny, do you know what I'm going to get to do that? I've got this little one, and it's so good at taking a little slither off. Okay, so that's going to go there. Yeah, that's better. And then this one, it's going to go there. And don't forget to rub out your pencil marks if you can still see them. That one's better than my first one. So we did it. We found a way to do it and not injure any polar bears. Oops. And look how that lovely little nose there. You see. And there we have the bones of the card. Let me put that trimmer away. So now all we need to do is, I keep doing it that way, is to decorate it, okay? And you will need a die cut of some description, so I'm going to write that down, that you need some dies. And we're going to use the snowflake stamp if you want to, and we're going to use this stamp set as well, but if you don't have that, that's fine. And we're going to do some polar bear stamping. So we could use that scrap, but it is the thicker white. It should be fine to punch through. I didn't include the bear punch in this, but if you didn't get it, you might want it. I'm going to use this polar bear matches with the bear punch. This polar bear matches with the bear. Just be careful because the insides are hollow. So I need the snowflake. And I think what I might do is, I think I might add the tree for a little bit of colour. And also the tree is hollow as well, so when you pick it up, it's quite flimsy. And there's the little polar as well. Lots of stamps. So I'm going to use, actually, I've got some basic white scrap here, which I was using for my list. So I'll just detach my list from it. And why have I got that polar out? I needed the one that was stood up. Honestly. Honestly, Julie. Okay, so I'm going to stamp in basic grey, which I always loved to do. So I'm stamping that, and then I'm going to stamp the tree, which I'll have to cut out. And then I'll stamp one of the small polars there. And then I need to grab Old Olive because I didn't get that out. To stamp the inside of the tree. Just thought it might be nice to do that. I've not actually used this stamp yet. Oh, there we go. And then we need a red ink pad, or it doesn't have to be red. It can be anything you want, as long as it matches. We're going to stamp a little scarf on the larger bear. Like that. And it does fit nicely. Just close those ink pads up. Have a drink. So I'm just going to go in and use my bear punch. If you haven't got this, you can let me know and I can get it for you. It is easy enough to cut out, I would imagine. And we'll have to cut this one out. And then I'll use that for my greeting. So what I thought I might do is add a tree on the front, because it's a little bit more green on the front is the design, you know, with those alternative papers that I used. So we did that. I just thought I might put the bear in front of the tree like that, just to have a bit more colour. I'm not going to decorate the front of mine because I think I am going to do it for my neighbour's little boy, and I want to just take my time to find the right greeting and use maybe an alphabet set. Okay, so we've got this, haven't we? So that's too much. This one, oh, I've dropped something on it, but never fear, because look, oh, no one needs to know it's there. Yep, so I think what I might do is that tree's definitely going there. Yep. But that's covering that polar up. That's covering that one up. Look, does it look too high up there? Actually, I don't, because it's sort of more in the middle if it's up there. It's, yeah. And I might do Connor, or just do a little Happy Christmas there. Or what would this one look like? I think that looks a bit busy with the presents and the tree. So I think I'm going to go for this one. And pop those on, I will pop those on there. Now all I've done is, the ribbon isn't attached. So when I put this on the card, I use foam pads, but I do some at the top, some at the bottom, and the ribbon can go through the sort of channel. And you put that on here with dimensionals. I'm not going to do it because I've not decided with my stamping. Once it's on there with foam pads, you can't stamp. So that would be the front with the greeting, and then the ribbon would go around. But then also we were going to do a little greeting in here, weren't we? So if you haven't got the nested essential dies yet, they are an essential. Actually, I think mine are over here already. Oh, I was organised after all. This is the one I probably use the most. It's not the largest, it's the next one down. Yep, that's that one. So I'm just going to use my mini machine. Do you know, when you tidy everything away, you have to remember where you put it, don't you, to use it again. So I'll put that away because we don't need that. And what I'm going to do to start with is I'm going to stamp some snowflakes. Oh, look. I've not got the... I'm going to use Smoky Slate. But you don't have to, and I think I've used Misty Moonlight, so I need to clean these stamps. Look, I'll be a really good girl and clean that tree stamp while I'm at it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to stamp, in fact, let me stamp the greeting first. That's going to be in Misty Moonlight, and that's wishing you a very Merry Christmas. And this is from the extra set that you could get in the kit. Now, this is a cling. You can't see through this one, so it's a little bit more tricky. I've not put the sticker on either. I've been naughty. Not bad, Julie, not bad. Don't get Misty Moonlight on your fingers. Okay, so I'm just going to stamp some like over it. Just have that one on the corner. There we go, that's fine. Could add some gems if you wanted to, because you got a full pack in your kit, but I'm not going to, with it being for a child and they've got a dog as well, so I'm being responsible. I'm being a responsible crafter. I'm just going to pop that in with foam pads. Now if you're putting a chocolate bar in, which I am, you should still be able to fit it in. The foam pad shouldn't have too big an impact. And it's just going to go in the sky here at the top, like that. So that will go over like that. We'll have our ribbon. Now I've used that navy. You've got some navy. It looks like this, and it's all in a little... I spent ages wrapping them up for you. So that should work, because it is Night of Navy, but it looks very Misty Moonlight. So you can tie that round, and then you can put your decorated... piece this piece that I've not finished over the top. But what I will do is when I've finished it, I'll put photos in the group. So that is the first, well, it's not the first, it's the second project, but it's one of my first pre-records done. If you were watching live and you're crafting along, then that's it now until after 1 o'clock. I'm back on and I'm going to do a live at 1. So I'm trying to do a mixture of pre-record and then live crafting. And the dog's just woken up, so that's perfect timing. So I'll see you again at 1 o'clock. And if you're watching on catch up, I'd love to know what you think in the comments. Bye.